I'm going to show you some techniques now for painting water. And the first one we're going to do is how to get sparkle on the water. I'm going to use a nice soft brush. I've mixed a bit of Payne's grey and a bit of alizarin crimson to match the colour of the sky. And I want the brush flat to the paper. And I'm going to just gently stroke across the peaks of the paper, look, leaving the white of the paper uncovered. Gently stroke it, a soft touch, but you need a nice soft brush for this. Just add a bit more blue to it. And there we are, sparkle on water. Let's paint a little snow scene. I'll show you another technique for getting that sparkle on the water. Put a bit of snow in first of all, a bit of blue. Just going to edge this bank a little bit here. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to use an oil pastel, and I'm going to put a bit of the oil pastel across there in the water. And all we have to do is to paint the sky colours basically over the water. Of course, here we are, look, it's being repelled to give us a bit of sparkle on the water. Just mixing a darker blue now. That's better. So by applying the oil pastel, it's resisting the paint. A bit darker colour doesn't match the sky colour. A bit darker colour, that's better. And I'm going to go to the rigger brush. I'm just going to pick out with a bit of Payne's grey that bank area. And there we are, using an oil pastel, I've created some sparkle on the water. Earlier on I showed you how to get sparkle on water by using the side of the brush and running across the peaks of the paper. The other way of doing it, of course, is to use a wax crayon or an oil pastel. So what I'm going to do is just use a little bit of oil pastel on here. This is much easier for you, to be honest. And then we'll overpaint that. I want a bit of red in to match the colour of the sky. And you can't find anything easier than that. Just rub an oil pastel over, it repels it when you put the paint over the top, and there's your waterfall. This is the type of thing I used to do when I first started painting, and what some of my beginners on my painting colleges achieve, but it's not right. We need some tonal values and a bit of colour in the painting. We need to take into account the principles of design. So let's look at it and see how we can improve this painting. We've got to get distance in the painting recession. These trees need to be darker. Those trees are far too dark in the distance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lighten those trees first of all. I'm going to use my Derwent water brush. With some clean water, I'm going to stipple. And then I'm going to blot. And that removes the colour. I hear so many people say, oh, you can't alter watercolours. What a load of rubbish. I'm doing it now, look. I want those in the distance to be lighter in colour. That's my first step. They're alright. These need to be darker. So let's make these dark. A bit of Payne's grey, a bit of green. I'm going to use a bit of card now as a mask to place on the painting to keep the bottom of those tree groupings level. I'm going to darken these trees here, or these bushes. Just want a little touch for that one at the back. It's in the behind, but it's behind. It's back of these trees, but it's still in the distance. Now, with the Wonder knife, I'm going to scratch out a bit of tree structures. I need to dry that completely now before I put on the foliage. Let's put the foliage on now then. Bit of that nice yellow, touch of green, bit of that white. Right, so I've still got that light in the distance. Let's pick out these trees here. All I'm doing is stippling. Now over here we'll assume these are gorse bushes. Well, a little gorse bush there. And I still want a bit of highlights on the trees, but I still want them dark. So I want a bit of that nice soft yellow, cadmium yellow light, a bit of green, and a bit of that white acrylic. And that will give me a few, that's it, I'll get a few highlights there, look. Right, let's push those trees back. I'll just lighten those in the back. Just want a little bit of blue in. I know that's too dark, but I'll soon soften it. Put a little bit on there like that. Right, let's start and warm up this field now. The grass is flat, so we'll have a little bit more green down here, look. Just using the side of the brush. Bit of green there. Bit of green there, bit of raw sienna. So that a bit of warmth to the grass, look. Just using the side of the brush there to take that back. Now we need to use a rigger brush, and I'm going to edge the bank a little bit. The river's going off here in the distance in front of these trees. But before I do that, I need to dry it. Right, let's carry on edging the river bank then. Just putting in a bit of detail. Now the water needs to be done, so we'll try with a bit of small brush, my rigger. I want a bit of soft blue. A bit of light colour still showing through. I'm going to work from the bank with a bit of Payne's grey and a bit of red to get a dark colour. And we'll add some depth here. And that helps to push the water back into distance. If you overdo it, just wet it and take it out with a bit of tissue. I need a bit of depth in these trees, look, because trees are dark on the inside, don't forget, and light on the outside, so add a bit of depth in there. I want to just highlight that bit over there, the outline of the grass. Little fence along there look good, I think. So along here we'll just put a little fence. Don't forget it's in the distance, got to be very small. That's too dark, but I'll show you what I do. We'll just soften it with a tissue, look, because it's in the distance. And again we'll just edge this bank. Well, I just go up there with a dot dash, come down here with a few dot dashes. Having time to put some sheep in, needs a few sheep in the foreground. I think we'll have a fence coming down here, look. Put a bit of structure using a bit of white and a bit of raw sienna in the trees, look. The only thing I'd like to do, but I'll show you how to do it, is I want a bit more depth to balance the sky. So I'll show you how you do that. Just wet your paper with a bit of clean water, look. And then we'll drop a bit more colour in there. The reason you wet the paper underneath is so it just softens and fuses in. I'm just going to soften the edges there. And that's our improved picture. Well, I hope all these tips I've shown you will help you in your development as a landscape painter. Practice these tips, enjoy your painting, and we'll see you next time.
Now available to buy. Try these techniques at home whenever you wish. The extended DVD of today's workshop and the book that accompanies this series are now available from the Painting and Drawing channel. For further information and to order your copy, go to www.paintingdrawingchannel.com.